Detail! Action!
Present, Pops. Two. Veterans, friends of veterans, family and legionnaires. Seven decades ago, in 1950, brave Americans defended a far-off land that was under attack. For 3 years they fought, what many still call the Forgotten War. We are here to remember. We are here to honor not just those brave Korean War veterans, but all who have served in the U.S. military since our country's founding. John Sauter served in the U.S. Navy during the Korean War. Many years later, he wrote in the American Legion magazine that he had doubts whether the outcome of the war was worth the cost of lives and treasure. But after the war, he was greeted in New York, in his New York insurance office by a Korean immigrant. I was very young when the war started. She told him in a emotional voice. We lived on the Han River, just south of Seoul. My family walked to Busan. Thank you for saving my country. Sauter said his encounter with that woman put his last doubt to rest. It was worth it. Regardless of how one feels about policies that lead to war, let there be no doubt that veterans serve with honor. They serve to make life better for others. They preserve our freedom. Not all veterans have seen war, but a common bond they share is an oath in which they express their willingness to die defending this nation. Perhaps the most significant preserving our way of life are the battles that America does not have to fight, because those who wish us harm slink away in fear of the Coast Guard cutter, the Navy aircraft carrier, the Air Force fighter squad, the Marine Corps, fire team, or the Army soldier on patrol. And we are excited to add a new group to the ranks of the veterans, the men and women of the United States Space Force. We can be secure at home because we have brave warriors protecting us in the air, at sea, on land, and beyond our atmosphere. In addition to foreign adversaries, many veterans have had to battle invisible threats to their mental health and well-being. More than 20 veterans a day take their own lives. Only those who experience firsthand the horrors of combat can understand why so many of these young men and women feel compelled to take such a drastic and permanent measure. The U.S. Army recently reported a 30% increase in suicides among these active duty troops in 2020. We must do everything possible to stop these needless deaths. The American Legion has instituted a buddy program in which we encourage our members to regularly communicate with our fellow veterans. See if they need help, offer your hands in friendship. Those of us gathered here to observe Veterans Day have already indicated our support for the outstanding men and women who serve our country. Tell veterans directly that you love them, that you appreciate them, and that you're grateful for their service. We are their friends, their family, their co-workers, their neighbors. It is up to us to ensure that every veteran feels that his or her service in this country is appreciated by their fellow veterans. There are many tangible ways that we acknowledge their sacrifice. The easiest way is to say, thank you for what you've done for our country. If they are showing signs of unhappiness or depression, encourage them to seek up to the VA immediately. If they had difficulty obtaining the benefits that they are entitled to, let them know the American Legion has thousands of trained service officers nationwide that will help them navigate the bureaucracy free of charge. And if that veteran has made the supreme sacrifice, remember the price that has been paid for our freedom and offer your support for the loved ones left behind. Remember how occasions like this started. On the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month, November 11th, 1918, the guns stopped. It was a moment to celebrate as the largest, deadliest war up until that time came to a merciful end. We celebrate that moment only today. We call it Veterans Day. War is never anything to celebrate, but peace is. The peace in between those horrific wars is brought to you mainly by our veterans. The sacrifice brought forth during those wars is also made by our veterans. That does not mean to say others don't suffer. Civilians are killed and nobody understands sacrifice more than the Gold Star families. We honor our fallen on Memorial Day, although American Legion remembers them every day. Veterans, however, is for all who serve. While many veterans are humble, there is no such thing as insignificant military service. It is why the American Legion only requires a single day of honorable military service to join our ranks. We understand that it isn't just the sacrifice and service that are important, but the willingness to offer your life in defense of this nation that sets veterans apart. Veterans Day is an important but symbolic way of saying thanks. But we should insist that our elected officials produce meaningful laws and public policies that will enhance the quality of life for veterans and their families. American Legion is dedicated to remembering the legacy of all veterans because of these men and women have done for us. It matters to America. It matters to the people overseas who were liberated from tyranny due to the sacrifices of our military members. The defeating communism, fascism, and imperialism, to liberating slaves, keeping the peace during the Cold War, and battling terrorism today. Veterans have accomplished remarkable things for our nation's history. If your employer gives extra weight to the experience and skills of the state or returning job applicant, veterans preference is a requirement for government jobs, but it's also smart business for the private sector as well. When an American Legion auxiliary member asks for a donation for a pocket, remember the World War II veteran, the hospital bed. When a member of Congress complains about compensating Vietnam veterans for Agent Orange exposure remind the lawmaker the cost of being a veteran. In spite of the sacrifices that nearly all veterans have made and the horror that some have experienced, the overwhelming majority are proud to have served. 19th century British philosopher John Stuart Mill summed up the necessity of this special group of people when he wrote, "War is an ugly thing, but not the ugliest of things. The decayed state of morale, patriotic feeling which thinks that nothing is worth war is much worse. A person who has nothing for which he is willing to fight, nothing which is more important than his own personal safety, is a miserable creature and has no chance of being free unless made and kept so by the exertions of better men than himself." Mill had it right. Fortunately for all Americans, for all of us, America has been blessed through history by such men and women. Thank you for being here. God bless America. And God bless our pets. Thank you. Is that? Up. Two. One. Order. Off. Greetings. As you gather this Veterans Day to pay tribute to the men and women who served in the American Armed Forces, it is an honor to recognize these patriots for their service to a grateful nation. On Veterans Day in 1988, President Ronald Reagan referred to veterans as champions of a noble cause. This noble cause, standing against injustice to preserve our freedom and liberties, is what makes our veterans so special. Every day, America honors our veterans by upholding their legacies and remembering their sacrifices. We also acknowledge those who are currently serving both abroad and at home, including 115 Wyoming National Guard members deployed overseas. This commitment and courage continue to ensure our nation's safety and security. Bobby joins me in sending our best wishes and deepest appreciation for those who have served and continue to serve, as well as their families. God bless you, God bless Wyoming, and God bless America. With warmest regards, John Barrasso, United States Senator. Present. Arms. Order. Arms. Dismiss.